guys, it is Polio Jr. and today I'm going to show you how to remove paint as easily as possible, really from any sort of metal, but today I'm pretty much just using hinges and the pins to the door hinges as an example. This is actually a pretty much finished product, but the simplest way, which I want to show you if there's anything left on here, is number one, I've used this before in other videos, the denatured alcohol, probably one of the best paint removers. And the cool thing about it is you pretty much just have to let the metal sit in the denatured alcohol for a little bit. So I've been letting this these hinges sit in this metal for a little bit of time now. So, and actually, let's see here. What I'm going to do, you can't really see it, but I'm just going to dump this in. I'm going to get as much of the old alcohol, the denatured alcohol, into here first. And then, and really, you don't really need gloves for this. It's just if you have like for me, I got a couple cuts on my fingers and I've been working a lot, so kind of really, anything, my hands are really like sensitive right now. So this pretty much did it by itself. If you see this color right here, this was the color of the entire door hinge, and by just letting it sit there, letting it sit in denatured alcohol, maybe for you can do it for like a day or two. I did this for a couple of days, so the longer the better, because it'll just pretty much take it all off without you having to do much. So we still have a little bit of liquid in there, which is fine. Trying to shake out the pieces here. So I actually threw in everything. I threw in the nails. I threw in, I threw in the nails. I threw in the pins. You name it, I put it in there. So let's see how, if we even have to use anything at all, really, because I have this drywall sponge here that I use for. Now, if you see that, just from sitting for a couple of days, and this whole thing was covered in this color right here. So let's see if we can get, I mean, even with just the paper towel, I mean, it's coming off almost immediately. A little bit of, not too much elbow grease, but just working with it. But if I were to use this drywall sponge, excuse the washer in the background, that stuff will come right off. So what I would do, and usually try and be in an open environment for this, so I'm pretty much right by a window right here, so I'm okay. You can wear a mask if you want, but you know what? I'm going to turn that damn thing off for a second. So, like I said, this whole thing, this whole hinge, and the pins and the outside of the screws were painted over quite a few times. So even if you just have something that's just a little abrasive, if you do need it, you might need it if it's older, and these are definitely older. So this house was built, I think in the 30s. So, but like I said before, denatured alcohol is a fantastic paint remover, and all you have to really do is let it sit in a metal container, and you have to cover it because it will evaporate. It still is ethanol, but it's not as high of content of ethanol as a lot of the other stuff out there. So like you can use it, like I've used it in oil lamps and stuff like that. You just don't want to put it in a small room. but it will heat up really quick, and it burns really well. But this is what I'm trying to show you today. Is just instead of sitting there and just trying to scrape it off without using anything at all, you just let it sit in that denatured alcohol for a day or two. I would say just do 2 days, just to be safe, and because it'll do. The longer you let it sit there, the more work it'll do for you, and the less work you have to do for yourself. You know, as far as getting all the little spots and so forth. But like I said, this one sat for a couple days, and this was built up. I wish I had shown you the previous product, but I already had it sitting in there because I had to get it done. Because this actually goes to my closet door. So, but as you can see, at least these front parts came off real easily, and all I'm going to do is just soak these a little bit, and just clean them off with some water pretty much after this, because it has a little bit of a smell to it, and it definitely has a very WD-40 kind of, after a little bit, texture to it. So, but it takes the paint right off beautifully. So even all these like screws and so forth, like these were all covered. This whole top was covered. This whole top, all of it was just covered in paint, and I didn't have to do anything except let it sit in this old Maxwell coffee cup metal container for 2 days, for a couple of days. So, and trust me, I mean, it was like all over these screws, all over these hinges. I mean, completely covered, because they painted it like 3 or 4 times. So, and then this just makes my job so much easier. And if I want, I can leave it at its original state that it came in, which is basically what the denatured alcohol does. Is it just takes everything that was on the metal off of the metal for the most part. You have to do a little bit of work, but not nearly as much as if you just went into it dry and just started scraping and doing all that stuff. So yeah, if you let it sit for 2 days, it'll take it right the hell off. So with any kind of metal, and even with glass too, it's fantastic for glass. I had some sitting in if you're gonna keep any, because you can still use that old denatured alcohol for other rusty things. Keep it covered. One, it does evaporate relatively quickly, and two, it's still ethanol, so it's still gas. So you want to keep them covered. So, but yeah, so I'll show you. So like I said, this was pretty much a finished product. But for me, there's a little stuff. There's a couple little things here that I could take off if I really wanted to. But what I'm going to do is just spray paint it. So I'm just going to spray paint this gold with the gloss gold, and that'll cover up everything, and this will go right back on, and it won't be an issue at all. I mean, you can spray paint it any color you want, you know, and just whatever you want to use. So like I said, if there's any extra things here, and this is a heavy duty drywall sponge, but you can use a regular, see that's right off, but you can use a regular drywall sponge that aren't as abrasive. This is a little bit more of abrasive sponge, and they're not too much. You can get them at at Home Depot or any home improvement center, wherever. But it just saves so much work. And like I said, stay in an open area. If I haven't mentioned that in any previous videos, I apologize. I mean, it's not gonna kill you. The smell isn't too bad. Like I said, I'm right by a window right now, so I'm okay. You can actually have, you could have a fan blowing in a different direction, taking all the fumes and so forth, which there's not that much right now. And like that thing is covered over there, but that's just taking it right off. So this stuff works beautifully. It really does. But that's really it. I mean, it's just a quick video just to hopefully make your guys' lives easier if you're ever having to, if you ever want to, you know, you're going to take off, you're going to start painting a room and so forth. You have to take off the hinges and start, you know, you have to do this like tedious kind of stuff. This is a much more efficient way of doing it, just letting it sit, you know, in a container. Cover the container, and just put the fully painted hinge or whatever piece of metal or piece of glass. So like for instance, this is actually a container for an oil lamp. And this one, or a different one, used to have this white rubber substance in it that was more of like a decorative kind of thing, and it was inside of it. And for whatever reason, this has a little bit more of a corrosive property to it. So when I left the denatured alcohol in it, it actually, when I started dumping it out, I saw that the white rubber decorative part was deteriorating. And I was actually able to pull it out in one piece. It was pretty cool. But if I had left it there even longer, it just would have ate it away. So even like any kind of paint and glass, I mean, this video is more for paint removal, but you can use it for a lot of stuff. So whatever size container you need, however much denatured alcohol you need, put it in a container, put it in a metal container, cover it, let it sit. You sit for a day or two. I recommend 2 days, so it does more of the work for you. Because when you pull them out, like I said, you're basically pulling it out like that for the most part, with a little bit of stuff that you might have to scratch off. But if you're gonna, like for me, I'm gonna spray paint the hinge. I'm gonna spray paint the hinges and the top of these pins, and even maybe in the top of the screws. There's not much more I have to do here besides I'm just going to rinse them off real quick, and that's it. So just a quick do-it-yourself kind of thing, make things easier for you so you can get other things done while, you know, everything else is doing the work for you. I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it was quick. Please subscribe, like, leave a comment, let me know what you think if you have any experience with this. And I'll see you guys later. Bye.